Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS Magazine videos. This is the RPG A Day 2019 series of videos, an initiative created by Dave Chapman, Mr. Autocratic, in which every single day we release a video, a blog post, a podcast, something to do with role-playing games and a love for it based on one word that he's prompted us. So down there in the description, the video description, you can find a link to the blog of Autocratic, where you can find more information. You can also find the subscribe button. Please press it now so you can get notifications when we upload more videos on this series and many other things that we're going to be creating very soon indeed. The word for today's episode is lost. Now, when I think of lost, the first thing that comes to mind is the collection of books that I lost in 1997. If you look at this take, this is kind of my collection of books. This is part of it, most of it. When I lived in Spain, before I left for the UK in 1998, I lived in a small town in the very south of Spain. And for years before, I was very privileged that I was able to buy pretty much anything and everything that was published in Spain. So I bought any AD&D that was published by a publishing company called Zinco, and they published the core books. They did The Forgotten Realms, Dark Sun, Planescape, some of the Greyhawk adventures, and then there were very many other smaller publishers that published Spanish-based role-playing games. Then we had Vampire, that also came, MERP, Rollmaster, loads of things, loads and loads of things. My collection wasn't by any means as big as this because in Spain really we hadn't that very many books published at all. But if you look, maybe I had a couple of these shelves, like this one and that one from top to bottom. And I reckon that was about 70 to 75% of all the material published in Spain. We also had Gibraltar very nearby, so we used to go to the shop and buy the Dungeon magazine, the Dragon magazine, and buy some books in English. Well, all of that was lost to me. Absolutely every single thing was lost. I lost it. When I left my hometown to look for work in 1997, I took some of the books with me. My beloved Dungeons and Dragons came with me, most of it, not all of it, just enough to keep me going. And some of the MERP, my dice. But a lot of it stayed behind. And you're not going to believe this, but the whole thing was burned. Because when I left my room, my parents thought that it was kind of useless junk, and they burned the whole thing in a bonfire. Because what's the point of this? I also have an insanely huge amount of comic books, Marvel and Image Comics mostly, but also the whole collection of The Sandman by Neil Gaiman, and all of that was lost. To make matters worse, when I moved to the UK in April 1998, I left all the books that I had, all the role-playing games and most of my possessions with a friend in Madrid, and he put everything in his basement in boxes. 1 year later, before I had a chance to bring it to the UK, there was massive thunderstorm and flooding, and yes, the basement was flooded with my books in it, and the whole thing was lost. Every single book was lost, everything. And I can tell you, it took me 2 years to talk to my parents after doing that. It was so painful. And it was gut-wrenching to lose pretty much all my Dark Sun, everything I had, D&D, all my AD&D books, everything was lost. It was one of the saddest, most frustrating, and made me feel so impotent because I could do absolutely nothing about it, moments of my life. And I really, maybe that's why it's so hard for me to part with any of my books. That's why I collect so many. Yes, I have since, recovered pretty much anything. I have very proudly everything that's been published for Dark Sun is out there. I have tons of books and, Forgotten Realms and loads of MERP and role-playing games that some of them in Spanish I've managed to recover. But it was so horrible losing them. Not selling them, no, it wasn't a conscious, voluntary decision. It was all based on stupid preconception and nature doing its thing. It was horrible, horrible. So please look after your books. And if you're leaving home, please make sure that somebody understands how important your books are to you, whether they are role-playing games or anything else. Because I can promise you, if you lose those books out of no fault of your own, you are going to be kicking yourself for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. Don't let that happen to you. Trust me. It's a horrible, absolutely horrific sensation. So don't let that happen to you. Look after your books. Make sure that if at any point a book leaves your life, it's because you want that to happen. Not because somebody else made it happen for you based on nonsense. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I'm sorry this video is being a bit all doom and gloom, but I've lost a lot and I don't want anybody to lose it, ever. I will talk to you very soon.